Greetings from afar. Boy, a lot of stuff on my mind today, I think. Just a lot of over and over, right? Over and over. New stuff always happening. We're just trying to keep things alive and well here because there is so much going on, and because of all of the hatred, I guess, that we see. Not only about the David Crowley case, but just the hatred in general in this world. People aren't, apparently they're not picking up their Bible and reading it and actually taking it seriously. So for those people, I get it, because they're on a whole nother, they're in a whole nother world, basically. But just want to say thank you, everybody, for joining me here. I've been wanting to get back into the 94 pages. These police reports, the 94 pages, I still think are some of the most important documents to go through. And I think without going through these documents, it's really hard to kind of move forward to it. I can tell my glasses are kind of in the way of my monitor here. I'm going to try to move that over here, see if that's better on my eyes. So, two files that I did want to go through. I don't think I'll be able to go through them both. I just put out a video about Mitch Heil, and that video about Mitch Heil is from a article that I wrote maybe about a year ago or so, maybe even later. And it was all this, lots of hatred, like hatred towards people that Mitch Heil doesn't even know, doesn't want to know, doesn't want to deal with. But yet, for some reason, we're the crazy ones for asking questions, for keeping this story going. We're the bad guys, right? We're the ones who are doing things wrong here. Which obviously that's not true. That's not the case. But people are entitled to think that. If they want to think that, they can think whatever they want. That's fine. What we're going to do is just keep pressing on and keep getting to the answers. The answers are out there. The answers will show. I believe the answers will show what we've been saying for 4 years now and counting, that there is no proof to prove David Crowley is guilty. Just on that case alone. Not to mention some of the suspicious people, the suspicious actions, the suspicious activity that has been documented. So all that will be coming up next. But I thought that I would just kind of read through some of these pages here, starting at page 30 of the Apple Valley Police Department Police Reports. Starting here at page 30, talking about Danny Mason. And this was written by Detective Tommy Booth. It's dated 1/21/2015. Tommy Booth spoke with Danny Mason on January 19th, 2015. And he says, on January 19th, 2015, I spoke with a Daniel August Mason, gives his birth date, 9/10/81. Mr. Mason's phone number is redacted. I redacted that, by the way. They didn't redact that. Mr. Mason advised me that he had known David Crowley for approximately 4 years and was one of the actors on Crowley's concept trailer for Gray State. He's one of the actors. Later on, he might say that he's a little bit more than just one of the actors there. So, Mr. Mason became involved with Crowley when he met him through his company called Bullet Exchange. Bullet Exchange was a company run by Crowley and Heil that trained actors to be in military-type movies, along with renting out props related to military and police. All right, so I'm just going to let my famous cat in here. You'll take, I hope I don't make you dizzy by doing this. Come on in. Come on. Let's go. Well, we're going to come in or we're going to come out. Want to say hi? Want to say hi? Okay, she doesn't want to say hi. Sorry about that. That's what happens when you go live with the cat, apparently. In the background. Never a good idea. So, picking up where we left off here. Let's see. Mr. Mason had stated that the concept trailer for Gray State was made to help produce with what he called crowdfunding. People would donate money towards the movie and concept trailer of Gray State. he thought that approximately $61,000 was raised to help produce Gray State. He's talking about the trailer in 2012 here, is what he's talking about. Once the concept trailer was done, Crowley's intentions, according to Mason, was to try to sell the movie for a full-length movie to movie studios in California. At one point in time, he thought that the movie studios had come back saying that it was going to run roughly $30 million to produce a full-length movie of Gray State. Mr. Mason was unsure as to whether or not actual paperwork or contracts were signed to make a full-length film. Mr. Mason said his involvement with Gray State and Crowley was strictly as an actor and as a friend, but had not been involved in any financing or was actually listed on any paperwork as a partner with Crowley and Heil. That's going to come back to haunt Danny Mason. Because after David's death, Danny Mason tries to create the Gray State LLC and tries to move forward with David Crowley's project. And obviously that didn't work out well. He did try. So, hey, Lori, how's it going? Hey, Angela, thank you for both chatting, and thanks to all the other people that are joining us here. Don't worry about that. If you can't hear it now, you can always hear it later. It's fine. We're just going to be rolling off the cuff a little bit here. Just wanted to finish this coverage. The 94 pages of going through this stuff has been very tedious, but it's definitely worth it. I think it's definitely worth going through. Let's continue here. Okay. Mr. Mason states that the last time he saw the entire Crowley family was sometime near the end of August when he attended Rania's birthday party at the Crowley residence. At this birthday party was not only Mason, but a lot of writers, producers, and filmmakers who were all in some way, shape, or form related to the movie and concept trailer of Gray State. So as they're moving forward, and we have heard this, that there was tension, and they make it seem like the tension at Rania's birthday party was between David and his wife, when in reality, the tension could have been between David and anyone else, right? It could have been because David Crowley was moving forward with Gray State, and these guys were not moving with him. Come on, come lay down. You're still in pain. Do you have an opinion on the Crowley case? Oh, now you're silent. See? That's what happens. They go silent. Okay, moving on. Hey, Kath Middleton, thanks for joining us. Appreciate that. We're just moving on here. So it's going to be a little raw, a little rough around the edges. Just live video of me chatting here. So I don't know how helpful this is going to be for you, but it's therapeutic for me to get this stuff off of my brain. What's up, Pat? How you doing? And if you guys want to jump in at any time, ask any questions, I'll try to go with those questions too. But this right here, these documents, looking at the police reports, the PDF, and everybody should have this, page 30 to 31 shows what happened when the police talked to Danny Mason, and it gives Danny Mason's side of what he said. Now, we don't have the actual transcripts. We don't have, this is just a summary here, but it would be nice to get the actual reports of what was said. Come here. Come lay down. Come lay down right here. Okay, let's see. Okay, so that was the last time. So the last time Danny Mason saw the whole family was in August at Rania's birthday party, which I believe was August, very early August, by the way. Okay, and that's pretty much after this birthday party, you're going to see a lot of splits, a lot of people going in different ways, and David chopping out people from his life. Banning people on social media, or whatever you want to call it, not talking with people on social media, blocking people on social media, including David Kirk West, which is another interesting character. A lot of the people that it seems like David was distancing himself from are the same people who believe that David Crowley is guilty. Is that a coincidence? Are we reading too much into this by even looking at it? And people think that just because we're asking these questions that we're jumping the gun and coming to conclusions. We're not like the Apple Valley police. That's what they do. We're not like these people that read a couple things and think that David Crowley is guilty. That's what they do. That's not what we do here. And that's not what I would encourage any of you to do here. Look at the documents. Look at the photos. Look at everything that you can get your hands on. That is going to show us. That is where you're going to see what is really going on. Not by listening to me, not by listening to anybody else, not by just trusting of who says what. Because if a lot of people say things and then their stories change, or they get caught in lies, and it's over and over and over again with the same people that believe David Crowley is guilty. And it's multiplied. Now the people they're encouraging are believing it and trying to get others to believe it. But I have faith. I have faith in all of you. I have faith in all of you that if you can see the documents, if you can read those documents, if you take the time, you'll see it for yourself. You'll see what's really going on. The cat's going to go in and out. I can already tell. All right. It's all about you. Forget about everything else. Yeah, you're right, Lori. The truth will come out. And the truth is the truth. And there's no need to hide the truth. Okay? There's no need for any of us to be hiding anything. There's also no need for any of us to act like we know what the truth is when we don't. To accuse other people of knowing what the truth is. Okay? Our truth has got to be focused on finding out what happened here. That's where the truth needs to go. It needs to go there. It needs to stay there. That's it. All of this other stuff, there's a lot of hoopla, a lot of this and that, and a lot of going after people. None of that is going to help prove David Crowley guilty or innocent. And it's not meant to. It's meant to distract you. But it's up to you. If you are going to fall for it, it's up to you. And it's okay if you fall for it. That's okay. We're all human. That happens. But then you have to learn from it and not do it again. And try to help other people to really see, study it for yourself, look at it for yourself. Don't be bullied by any people. Don't be intimidated by any people. They will fail. They will lose. The people who are intimidating you are the ones who will in the end go down. Their rise will fall. Don't be deceived. Thank you, Jennifer. You're right. Don't be deceived. And stay away from people that deceive you. Don't converse with them. The art of blocking. Let's talk a little bit. I know we're supposed to be talking a little bit about Danny Mason. The art of blocking. One of the people that I have not blocked yet is Danny Mason. Still has an opportunity to debate me on this case if he wants to. Okay? If he doesn't, great. I'm not pushing it. I'm not forcing it. He had the opportunity and chose not to. He made it seem like he wanted to debate me and Dan. Then he went silent. Crickets. All of it. Nothing. So, social media. If you block people, okay, you don't have to deal with their drama anymore. It's the best way to avoid that drama. It's useless drama. You don't need it in your life. And it was never meant to be in your life. Hey, Jerome, what's going on? Hope everybody's having a good day. I got way off topic there a little bit, but just wanted to say, block these people. They'll create more fake accounts. Block those. Document it all. And you'll see exactly what is going on. What are they doing? What is their motive? What is the motive for going after people that are asking questions about the David Crowley case? It can only be one or two things, maybe three. But it's just, I just stay away from it. I tried with many people. I've tried to go back and forth, to converse with them. And there's just nothing there. They don't really care about the truth. They're not interested in it. That's what I've found out. And everybody needs to see that for themselves and figure it out for themselves. So, okay, so we talked a little bit about the last time that Danny Mason saw the Crowley family. Now we're going to go back to when Danny Mason last saw David Crowley. So the last time Mr. Mason saw David Crowley was in September, but he could not remember the exact date in September. He stated that he had come over to the Crowley residence to talk to David concerning this movie and where the movie was heading. He talked to David out in the driveway of the residence, and had stated that David had looked like he had lost a bunch of weight and was fragile. Mr. Mason stated that this was not so much uncommon for David when he would get wrapped up in his projects and writing scripts for this movie. Now, that might have been the last time that they talked in person, but it was definitely not the last time that they went back and forth where David was trying to get Danny Mason to sign away these rights. And it was always curious to me if Danny Mason is just an actor, what type of rights would need to be signed away? And if he's just an actor, why not sign it? Mitch Heil was more than just an actor, and Mitch Heil had no problem signing it. Signed it, no problem. Danny Mason, nope, would not sign it. Has not signed it. Still not to this day. He even after David died, he tried to go forward with this. He wasn't the only one, but he was part of that. It's a big part of that. So you're not just an actor, obviously. You might be an actor in some ways, sure. But when it came to the Gray State Project, were you really just an actor? And if you are, then what are you now? If the Gray State Project would have gone forward, you would have been much more than just an actor. And the problem was when David Crowley was moving forward with this project without Danny Mason, I don't believe Danny Mason was going to be an actor in whatever was coming from this $30 million deal, which was a TV deal. There's a lot of keywords here. So Danny Mason, some of the keywords is what he's saying, how David looked like. He looked like, you know, he lost a lot of weight, but it wasn't uncommon, blah, blah, blah. So he says, after the September meet, Mr. Mason states that he received an email on the 1st of October 2014 from David Crowley's attorney. The email was asking for Mr. Mason to release any rights he had as an actor in the movie so that David could take the script and movie a different route than what was originally planned. Mr. Mason stated that he did not reply back to the email that was sent by David and had taken the release form to his attorney to review before signing anything for David. And this goes back and forth. This goes on and on and on. And I don't know if a lot of this was supposed to come out, but when the documents came out showing that there were, maybe not signed contracts, but it pretty much was in the works. The project was in the works. And it was not going to be with the Gray State team. This was going to be a real Hollywood project that would involve David, but none of the other people, at least not in writing, not on paper. All right, so on December 7, 2014, Mr. Mason states that he received an email directly from David Crowley. The email stated in summary that David had decided to take the Gray State into a different path than what they originally had thought, and in order for him to do that, I'm just going to start over here. The email, on December 7, 2014, Mr. Mason stated that he received an email directly from David Crowley. The email stated in summary that David had decided to take the Gray State into a different path than what they originally had thought, and in order for him to do what he needed to do, Mr. Mason needed to sign a release form releasing him of his rights to the movie. And again, the second time, I'm like, well, what type of rights does an actor have to a movie? You've got to be more than an actor to at least have something, right? So anyways, that was just a whole nother issue. Attached to that email was the same release form that was sent on October 1st, 2014. Mr. Mason stated that he replied back to David's email telling him that he needed his attorney to have a look before he signed any release concerning this movie. December 27, 2014 was the last contact Mr. Mason had had with David Crowley or anyone in his family. Notice they're not on the phone. And I do believe David was more on social media in the last months of his life than he was on the phone. First of all, I don't think a lot of people had his phone number for whatever reason. And there's some interesting things going on with David's phone number at this time as well. But I do believe that because we see so little activity on David's phone record, that I do think that there is a lot of activity on social media, in Messenger, possibly Skype, those type of things. All that the police have, all that they went through, even the deleted stuff, which Sophia sent me and posted that, even all of that stuff, they went through it all of it. Because, you know, in the digital world, just because it's deleted, it's never really deleted. Just throwing that out there. All right, so Mr. Mason had asked me if I had talked to Mitch Heil yet concerning David Crowley. I advised him that I had not. and Mr. Mason gave me Heil's number so that I could contact him. Mr. Mason stated that he believed that David Crowley and Mitch Heil had dissolved their partnership in the business, but believed that that had happened on good terms. He thought that that had happened around September or October timeframe 2014. Mr. Mason described David Crowley as a very loving man towards his family and loved his family more than anything else in the world. Yet he had no problem with going with the story, the fictitious story that David Crowley was guilty, that he did this, all this stuff. Oh, we got to go dark. We got to do all this stuff because David went crazy. Blah, 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 blah. So early on. I mean, we're talking about this report is dated 121. This report, these two people talked on January 19th, the same day that Chris Klein would be the suspicious person found inside of the Crowley house. That no one was supposed to be in the Crowley house at this time. The cleaners were still cleaning on January 20th. Until they finished their cleaning, I don't understand why anybody was even in there, or what they would be doing in there, or why they could not wait a few more days. Like we see on January 25th when there's a bunch of people at the Crowley house taking out stuff, going through stuff, whatever they're all doing. But on the 19th? Very odd. So, interesting. Let's see. So, it's like Mr. Mason, Danny Mason, wants to have it both ways, right? He wants to tell you that David Crowley was a loving man. He loved his family more than anything. But then, yeah, you know, ooh, he's dead, guilty. We should all just kind of move on. We know he's guilty, blah, blah, blah. Okay, bye. That's it. You don't get to know anything. Pretty much was what we were all told when this all first happened. And it's like, well, you don't get to tell us what we get to know and what we don't get to know. That's not up to you. It's not up to anybody. Even the authorities, it's not up to them. It's whatever the law says. All right? So that's it. All right, so let's see. He also stated that he was a very artistic individual, did not show any signs of violence, and was not an extremist, even though he will be labeled as some alt-right. David was allegedly, when the documentary comes out years later, they're going to try to tie David Crowley to the alt-right movement, which wasn't even created back in 2014. As far as I know, no indication have I seen that David Crowley was a Republican or a Democrat or anything like that, let alone an alternative to that sphere, to all that BS, all that drama that's going on. I don't see it. I don't buy it. That's just me. All right. Where are we at here? Mr. Mason says that David had always been upset about the way he was used in the military during Iraq and Afghanistan, but was not an extremist. No, it's probably called common sense. I think every soldier, whether they really speak out about it or not, is probably not happy with the way that not only they were treated, but the way that the whole situation in Iraq and Afghanistan was treated and still is treated now. I don't think anyone is saying, oh, we did a great job. We went in there and freed everybody and life is great. No, I'm not buying that. They might say that in public. They might say that if they're a politician or something like that, but no, I'm just not buying that. He also stated that he knew that David believed in the higher power, God, when it came to religion, but they never spoke about religion. David never talked about Christianity, Muslims, Islamic beliefs, or any other type of religions out there. If anything, Mr. Mason thought that they may be that he may be an atheist. If anything, Mr. Mason thought that they may be atheists, meaning David and Kamel. Mr. Mason left the door open for any further contact by telling me that I could contact him with any further questions. I also left Mr. Mason my phone number to contact me in case there was anything else he remembered about Mr. Crowley that he thought would be important for us to know. Mr. Mason's interview was recorded on my digital recorder and later downloaded to the secured server at the Apple Valley Police Department. The case was still active then. And I think because of everything, I don't know. I mean, one thing that I wondered, should they have followed up on this? Should the Apple Valley Police have followed up with Danny Mason on anything maybe not. I'm not sure what they would need to really follow up on him with, except for the fact that, wait a minute, you said that you're an actor. You want to sign away these rights. Were you really an actor? What the heck is going on? So I was just very, very curious about that. But we'll let my cat in. We'll take a see if anybody has any questions, suggestions, anything like that. Kind of go from there. You're just gonna dominate everything, aren't you? Aren't you? What's wrong? You want to say hi? No? Say hi. You're okay. Come on. Come lay down. Come lay down. Sorry, I know that me moving the camera around is probably making a lot of people dizzy, so I apologize for that. Not the intent here. Not the intent for anything, but... Come here. It's going to be a little difficult with her here. I'll do my best. All right, so I'm just going to look and see if there's any questions, anything about that. But, you know, all that I'm saying is, you know, you guys just, you're grown people. I know that you can decide for yourself. You can decide what the truth is. You can decide where you want to go, who you want to believe, what documents you want to look at, what theories you want to, you know, take seriously, or what theories you think are just complete BS. That's all fine. You're free to do whatever you want. All that I want to kind of maybe warn people about is some of the haters out there, and that's why we're talking about the art of blocking people, and we're talking about Danny Mason, because the art of blocking people, there is an art to it if you want to do it right. Blocking a person on social media should kind of be like, you know what, if the person was sitting right here in front of me, I would have nothing to say to them. I wouldn't want to talk to them. So that's kind of the art of blocking. Now you want to go back out? This is my life now, apparently. Come on. Yeah, just gonna leave that open a little bit. She can come in as she wants. See if that helps. All right, guys, I really appreciate your patience with everything here, and I know a lot of you have put in a lot of effort, a lot of time into this case, and I really do appreciate that. I appreciate it all. You know, my cat does too. I know you appreciate it. What? What? What's wrong? Come here. Come and lay down. You're tired. You need to lay down. She just ate, so there's no reason for her to be making so much noise. We'll try to push through this. Okay, Autumn Wind says, once you have been targeted, it helps understand David and Kamel's actions in the final year of their life. That's an interesting point, Autumn, because that was one of the early theories too, was that they were targets. They were targeted, and that somebody was targeting David and his wife. And then when it started happening to people in the group, yeah, you have to take that seriously. You really have to take that seriously. So I would definitely take that stuff seriously. Be careful about people. Be careful about who you trust, who you let into your inner circle, and all that stuff. You know, I want to think the best of people. I try to give people the benefit of the doubt until something happens, right? Until they do certain things. And then at that point, it's like, okay, I'll continue with the conversations that we have, but I know it's coming, and it usually comes. You usually see it, right? All of a sudden, it's like a flip of a switch. Somebody you've been talking to for a long time is all of a sudden now just a totally different person here. That's not normal. That's not real. And people like that are just, you know, they just cannot be taken seriously. I would not take those people seriously. But I take every researcher seriously who can agree to disagree, regardless of where we are. You know, I would definitely encourage everybody to just do as much research as you can and go back. And just because you've done the research once, twice, 3 times, you know, you might miss something. You might have missed something. So as many times as you can go back to find out what the truth is, I say go for it. Yeah. Ellie, you're absolutely right. Trust in no man but the Lord. That's it. That's all I trust. I trust in Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ has led me to be the man that I am now. And he's going to lead me to be the man that he wants me to be, not the man that I want to be. Because it's different. Humans are selfish. We're all sinners. We all fall short. All of us. I don't care who you are. All of us fall short. Paul fell short. Peter fell short. The people who walked with Jesus Christ fell short. And they walked with him. They saw Jesus do all of these amazing things. And they still could not wrap their head around. They still had a hard time believing. How much more harder is it going to be for us? That's why when Jesus is talking with Thomas, and Thomas is like, I will not believe until I see it for myself. And God says, blessed are the people who believe and have not seen. And that's us. That's really us. And this day is getting harder. This world is getting harder. The evil forces believe that they are gaining power. But it's not that they're gaining power, from my view. It's that the chains are being loosened. Chains are still there. They're still limited, but they're given more. They're given more. And whatever they're given, whatever they want to do with it, fine. Great thing I heard in church was about being content. That is what, if you can learn to be content, not only when you're poor or when you're rich, when either or, whatever is going on, to have that contentment is very important. Because the more riches, the more stuff like that is thrown your way. That doesn't make life easier. As a Christian, it makes your life a lot harder. So maybe I'm way, way off here, but let's go and see if there's anything else here. Debunking the narrative. Debunking the narrative with the records, one lie at a time. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's just, and it's sad because I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't expecting to find all of these things that just kind of cast so much doubt on what the police say. It's all there. I mean, it's just like all of the doubt, everything that we see with this case. What is straightforward? Like, what if you had to name something for me that is straightforward in this case that is open and shut, no doubt, period. It's really hard. It's really hard. And for me, I give the authorities and I give the people who wrote these reports, who looked at these records, who did all of this work, I give them the benefit of the doubt. I want to believe them. I honestly want to believe them. And that's my bias. That is a bias. That's not what a journalist does, and I'm not a journalist. That's not what you're supposed to really do in this. But I start there because I do have a strong respect for police because they've helped me personally in my life, in my trials. When I was a younger kid, they've helped me, all right? And so I know that they're not all bad. It's just, it's not, the evidence is not here. The conclusion of exceptionally cleared shows that they cannot and will never, ever, by definition of exceptionally cleared, they can never, ever prove David Crowley is guilty by the fact that he's dead. Period. It can never be proven. Therefore, that's what we know. That's what we know. So for all these people to say that David Crowley is guilty, it's not true. Based on the official conclusion, it's not true. It is exceptionally cleared. He's not guilty. So for that reason alone, I think we can get the case reopened. Not by itself, but I think getting that into the right hands, into the right people. And it's all God's will. If it's all God's will, all this will be done. If God does not want this to be done, then it won't. But I don't believe that it's a coincidence. We have so many good people looking into this right now and are continuing to look into it. I don't believe it's a coincidence. I think this is all planned. This is all part of God's plan, whatever that is. We're going to drag the evil out of the shadows and expose them for the liars and the frauds that they are, if it's God's will. And it's not hard to do, and it's already been done. It's already done without us even having to do anything. It's all there. It's all there. Anything else here? Thank you, Jerome, for the live stream. Yeah, I wish I could. One of these days, I'm going to figure out how to get the live stream going with the free conference call and all that stuff, to where it'll kind of be like the free conference call will be here. I don't have the technology. I don't have the resources. I just don't have it yet. But I think that'll come. I think all that stuff is coming in the near future. If anybody has any ideas or any ways to help, I'd be more than open to it. Yeah, this cat has I thank everybody for the well wishes about the cat. I was talking with somebody today, and it's like when you, I don't know if you guys, when you talk to people who have dogs and you're talking about their cat, sometimes they look at you kind of strange and like, well, your cat, what are you talking about? You got a cat? But yeah, the cat is part of my family. The history of this cat, when my grandma died, when one of my grandma died, she was big on cats and everything, and we moved in there and we had cats, and she loved cats, we loved cats. I really was not a big cat person. My sinuses, I'd always have sinus problems with them. And one of the cats that was at my mom's house, my mom took over the house, one of the cats had a bunch of kittens. We gave that kitten to a family friend, and then we ended up inheriting the same kitten now, and she's older, so she is the last of a dying breed. And once she goes, there goes that whole era. There goes that whole phase of my life. A new phase begins for us all the time, but that was a very interesting phase of my life, a very trying phase, and I'm just glad that I made it out alive. Jerome is saying there is so much to this. You're right. So much to wrap your mind around. I have a few questions. These may have been discussed already, but would everyone be okay with me asking them? Absolutely. Ask away. Go ahead. Let's go with the questions if we see if we have any here. Jerome then says, that's the very... Oh, I think I skipped down a little bit. Sorry. Jerome then says, that's the very middle verse of the Bible. It's better to trust in the Lord than to put your confidence in men. Amen. Okay. Yeah, we all got our eyes on this. I'm so happy that so many people are looking into this. Okay, Jerome's first question. Okay, first question. Since there was so much vengeance directed at Camille, was someone in love with her or possibly jealous of she and David? Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard this theory. It's been passed around a lot of times. But again, where's the evidence to it? We're not really seeing anything that would lead us to, or that would lead me to, take that seriously right now. But again, you gotta go down all roads. You gotta see where they all lead, and if you hit a roadblock, you just have to kind of note it there. So, I mean, it's definitely something that I think all of us who have researched this for any amount of time has been forced to really think about and take seriously. I don't see it. I think it's a big, that's a big allegation. I know you're not trying to say it as an allegation, but it's definitely, it's definitely something to take seriously and not to just jump the gun. So I like the way that you're asking the question. You're not kind of saying, well, this must have been true, right? This had to have happened. We're all just talking here and trying to figure out what did happen, and that's what you got to do. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with asking these questions. I have no problem with that. But as far as me, I do not see anything. I do not see anything that would lead me to believe that that one person was cheating on the other at this point. Maybe there's evidence out there that I haven't seen. I don't know, but right now, I haven't seen any, but yes, I am open to it. And yes, it is something that we are looking at. And yes, it's something to be taken seriously. Absolutely. Let's see. Also, does anyone believe they were killed somewhere else other than the house? And that's been another one that has come up a lot, where a lot of people have wondered if they were killed somewhere else and then put there. I think where the blood is, if you look at all of that stuff, if you look at the low velocity blood spatter, I think that might kind of help. So again, I don't see any evidence that they were not killed in that house, and I can only go with what they say, what the police say here, and then we kind of just move from that and say, okay, well, they're saying this. All right, well, you know, they missed a bullet hole. They missed a bullet. They had to come back 2 separate days after the bodies were found. It really doesn't help solve the case, and it really doesn't help us understand what really did happen here. But again, a lot of speculation, and I just caution people to build theories on top of the speculation. It's definitely worth looking at to see if there was any sort of foul play, and I think that's what everybody is doing right now. So let's see. Patty asks, shot in the dark here. Could Watts case have some kind of connection with Gray State? Patty, just one thing about the Watts case that I really wanted to bring up about the Watts case was just that that guy might have been under some type of mind control. Chris Watts, possibly. I mean, what he did is just horrific. If you look at some of the stuff that he was into at that time, he was into something called Thrive. I don't know if you guys have heard about this Thrive thing, but back when I was doing trade shows at conference calls, or not conference calls, at what do they call it? Conferences, right? The truth conferences. And the Thrive was like a big thing back in 2012 and all that. It was all Thrive, 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 right? It kind of was like a non-spiritual version of The Secret. And to me, it looked like mind control, brainwashing, whatever you want to call it, some type of form. It's trying to put it on you, right? It's all about you. Don't worry, you don't need God, you don't need other people. It's just you. Just focus on you. That does not work. You isolate yourself from God, and you open up doors, spiritual doors, to these demons that are going to come in and try to cause you harm, try to cause you harm. So yeah, the Chris Watts case, that one really bothered me. I was glad that there were cameras there and that they were able to catch him, get a confession from him, not just assume that he was just, you know, innocent or guilty. But when I heard that he was really deep into the whole Thrive thing, I was like, ooh, I would look deeper into mind control with the Chris Watts case if you're looking into that. Look at how they are isolating him now. I know there's one guy out there, there's a few guys out there, but I watched a YouTube video. I can't remember the guy's name, but he was trying to get in touch with Chris Watts in the prison, talking about how much problems he actually had doing that. And that's what they do, is they will actually isolate him. And there's no motive, right? Again, there's no motive. It's just weird. It's just, he just did this and went back to work with his girlfriend. He had a girlfriend. He had all this stuff going on, and very interesting. Okay, I'm way off topic with that one, but I just wanted to share that a little bit about the Watts case. Autumn Wind says 3 innocents being permanently silent should be enough to raise voices. Yes, it should be. And here's the question, Autumn. I was expecting it to raise voices with the Gray State team and with the alternative news media, with all these 3%ers, all of these people who talk loud on social media, talk about the Constitution, the rights, all this stuff. But you know what? When it really comes down to it, when the chips were down, when David Crowley needed him, they just all abandoned him. Oh yeah, he's guilty. Okay, bye. Yeah, well, we're really sad, the tragic loss, this and that. You guys, pathetic, 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 and not worth the time. Not worthy to be in the alternative media. Not worthy to be in any of this stuff. So. Okay. Just a gut feeling. Yeah, go with your gut. Go with your gut feeling. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, go where the truth leads you. Go wherever God leads you. And if anybody stands in your way, block them. Get them out of your life. You don't need that in your life. The world has too much of that. Too much of that. The world needs more love. The world needs more truth. You cannot have truth without love, and you cannot have love without truth. It's a false sense of love. If you're going to act like you love the Crowleys, you love the family, you love all this, but you don't care about the truth. You're not willing to really find out what happened. You just want to go with it because of love, the peace, and all this. It doesn't work like that. Can't have it both ways. Oh boy. Let's see. Not sure about Pat Hansen. I'm not sure about somewhere else. The couch appears to be soaked with blood to me. Yeah, the couch. If not the couch, I don't know if you mean the couch, Pat, or do you mean the recliner? The recliner, which I believe was item 35, which was never tested, never taken a sample of or anything. It's the biggest. It's the biggest blood stain that we have in this whole house, and it's never examined. Nothing. That would show whatever was there. Wouldn't you want to know whose blood was that? Whose blood could that have been? And why was it never tested? Should have been one of the first things tested. I mean, look at some of the other stuff that they did test. They didn't test this. I'm very curious as to why. Very curious as to why. All right. Let's see. The targeting thing is new to me. Yeah, the targeting thing, Jerome, is new to me too, and I'm still very skeptical about targeting and TIs and all that stuff. But this recently happened to one of my friends named Patrick, and he was a big, I guess, not truther, whatever you want to call him, but he was into the whole chemtrails thing and all that stuff, and yeah, and they came after him. They came after him for that. And thank God he's doing a lot better and he's getting right with Jesus right now. And man, I'm telling you, once you have Jesus on your side, nothing can hurt you. Nothing can hurt you. That's all you need in this world. Let's see. Watts admitted that the girls. Oh, my Mango Bango says Watts at Jerome. Watts admitted that the girls were both alive when he put them in the truck. That is so sad. I remember hearing that later on. That was so sad. He said he killed them in the vehicle. Not only did he kill them in the vehicle, right? He killed one while the other one watched. I mean, that is just, it's just so, yeah. There's, you know, nothing to say. It's just sad. It's so sad what is happening. And were there demons involved in that Chris Watts case? I would really look at that. I'd really look into that one. The problem with the demon stuff is, you know what, it's almost impossible to prove, right? I mean, who's gonna prove that? And people say, well, you can't take it seriously. I take it seriously because the Bible takes it seriously. That's why I take it seriously. So, if it's there, and if it's meant to be, we will find it. If it's there and God doesn't want us to go there, he'll put up roadblocks. We have to be open to that. So I would just, encourage everybody to go where God leads you. Do it the way that he would want you to do it. Don't be deceptive. Don't get into these games people are playing. Don't get into arguments with people. I think that's probably the biggest one. There's no need to argue with people about this stuff. If they want to believe whatever they want to believe, at some point you're going to realize you cannot change their mind. And at some point, they might try to turn on you and try to change your mind or come after you, bully you in order to get you to change your mind. Do all of these things, but all of that is an intimidation scare factor. It doesn't change the way that you feel about the case. It changes the way that you feel about them. And that's how you know them. You will know them by their fruits. Right, Kitty? That's right. A good tree bears good fruit, and a bad tree bears bad fruit. Right? She doesn't know what I'm talking about. She knows, but she doesn't know. All right, just kind of wrapping this up here. Let's see. It's very sad. Jerome is saying, I think I missed a few things here. I'm just going to go back. Okay. Is there a topic to this live stream? No, there's no topic to this live stream. It's just a live stream. We're just going live here, talking about whatever. So if there's something you want to talk about, go ahead and bring it up. I'll try to talk about it if I know about it. If I don't, I'll just tell you I don't know anything. Tell me about it. Jerome says, there are so many more things that need more proof in this case before we can just say David is guilty. I agree with that. That's all that we've been asking for. And the answer was always, well, we have the answers. We can't share them with you guys because you're naughty, because you do not fall in line. You refuse to fall in line with what everybody else thinks. Therefore, we're not going to share the information with you. The real reason they're not sharing the information is because they don't have it. They don't have it. They don't have it. The evidence, any information, any evidence that would conclusively prove David Crowley is guilty does not exist. And the police proved that. Come here. Come here. Come on. Come and lay down. Come on. Okay. I guess I should probably wrap this up. She's getting a little hasty. See if there's anything else here. But I do have a couple other videos that I'll be putting out very soon. Hope to have the next conference call probably at the end of the month. Yeah, she does want my attention. Uh, so I do hope we can have another conference call at the end of May. Maybe middle May, end of May. Conference calls are always fun. They're always interesting, always different too. You just never know. That's what I like about them. You get a lot of different views, a lot of different thoughts. So, let's see. Anything else here? I think I'm gonna have to sign off. She's just being too much here. But I do appreciate everybody joining me, and I hope to come back soon. It's always a good time. Appreciate everybody finding this live stream. Keep your eyes and ears open, because there is going to be some excellent information coming our way. I hope that the private investigator is going to have some good news for us. And when I say good news, I just mean, something that will help us understand what really happened here. That's it. Whatever it is, regardless of it, So I've been very, very intrigued with this whole case, and I look forward to putting it to bed. And what we do know for sure, no doubt, is that police cannot prove David Crowley is guilty. If police cannot prove it, obviously anyone else claiming that David Crowley is guilty would have even less proof. It just doesn't exist. So I think you all know that by now. May God be with you. I hope Christ leads you and guides you and leads you to do His will, not your own. I hope He leads me to do His will, not my own. And together, I do believe we will get to the truth, or as close as we possibly can, to understanding what happened.